Radio Free Skaro!
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Radio Free Skaro, episode number 868. I am Stephen in Edmonton.
Warren in Vancouver.
And Chris in Edmonton.
Welcome officially to September. This is the first full episode in September. I have to give date updates just because every week we don't we know as much as we did the previous week about the next episode of Doctor Who that's coming ostensibly on October 16th. It is it still don't have a title, but
or officially a broadcast date,
or officially even a broadcast date. I got J.R. Southall of the Strangers podcast was getting back to me because he's I'm sorry, J.R., that you're so annoyed by my pessimism when it comes to Doctor Who these days on this part of the show because you know I'm annoyed. I am annoyed. I'm legit. I don't usually get annoyed by Doctor Who.
I need backstory. He's against your annoyance.
Well, I think he was saying basically because I've been going on about how we don't know when the next episode of Doctor Who's going to air, and or even what the title is, and he sort of says this is what the BBC his argument was this is what the BBC has always done, and my argument is this is what the BBC has always done. It's just like I don't. This
is not what the BBC has always done.
Well, he tried to show that we didn't have a title for the Day of the Doctor until like early November, or was it October or something, like 6 weeks
we
out?
certainly had hints from titles of other Doctor Who episodes that came up, so it was pretty obvious what it was going to be. Yeah,
there was other stuff going on too in 2013, 9 years ago. The whole industry was different back then. We didn't even have a Disney Plus or an Apple TV Plus or a Paramount Plus or any of those things,
That's surprising but true.
Yeah, so things have moved on. So but yeah, watch Doctor Who and the BBC decide, you know what, we should announce our BBC centenary plans on September 8th. Let's drop it then, when it's simultaneously Star Trek Day and Disney Plus Day, the same day, which is ridiculous, but
except it's by design because there's going to be a merger where Star Trek officially joins the Marvel Universe. You heard it here first and last because it's not true at all.
No,
presumably.
We've the knee-jerk reaction over the past 5 years has sort of been to blame Chibnall, but I think Chibnall's long since left. He's counting his money right now. I think this is all just now basically the centennial special is part of the BBC. The celebration for the 100th anniversary, and so now basically it's up to them to announce things, and they're taking their sweet time. So poor Doctor Who kicked around like a secondhand football right now.
I mean, It's a comfortable sock that I'm used to wearing, so why not?
Suppose. Anyway, this is the big news, though. I know it's on the bottom of our news list, Chris. But speaking of Star Trek, just in time for Star Trek Day, which is on September 8th, where we'll probably get trailers and release dates for like several of the Star Trek shows, so we know when to hate watch the last season of Picard.
Don't forget, this is Americans running things. Americans are good at this kind of thing.
Well, they also have like a corporate interests, I suppose, to look into.
Corporate interests are also good at this sort of thing.
Subscriber bases to think about, like, stay subscribed because they're going to have Star Trek on it.
All of which means they're going to be more on the ball about it than the BBC, which has a bunch of reasons not to be. Like,
True.
Not that I'm defending it because it's annoying, but yeah, they just have a different set of priorities, basically.
Yeah,
Doctor Who being one of them.
Well, I think this honestly, there was a recent discovery made literally today as we record this. from Flemish Dog on Twitter, who's an Australian sort of archive TV hound. And they found on the end of a U-matic tape, unrelated, had a bunch of like Australian school specials. On the end of this U-matic tape was a pristine copy of William Shatner's performance of Rocket Man from the 1978 Science Fiction Film Awards, or some TV special in the States. This has been on YouTube for years, in very, very low grade, like 18th generation quality, almost pretty much black and white by the time it actually made it to YouTube. I downloaded this immediately just in case it disappeared, because this is basically like missing episodes. This
it is pristine.
It is
absolutely
it's
pristine.
so good. If Star Trek Day knows what they're doing, they should open up Star Trek Day.
Here's the thing. If I was in charge of Star Trek Day, the last person I'd listen to is you, given your absolute and titanic disdain for everything they've put out in the last few years.
I know. Yeah, well, I think it'd be fun.
You might be right, but I still wouldn't listen to you if I was in charge of Star Trek.
No, I wouldn't do it either. I wouldn't do it either. No, it would just be a Deep Space Nine panel about how Deep Space Nine is far and away the best Star Trek, and then that would be it. That's it. That's it, everybody. See you next September 8th for more about Deep Space Nine. I joke, but like probably a full season of Star Trek Picard will have aired after the most recent Doctor Who episode. We'll probably have a trailer for the next season before we even see an actual proper trailer for the Doctor Who special. Like that's how it's
But
going.
the Doctor Who special has an outside chance of being good. So there's that.
That's true. That's true. That's true. Just want a trailer. Just want something to build up some excitement for it, you know? Anyway, hey, did you watch? I've only watched the first episode of this, but speaking of other entertainment properties, the Lord of the Rings : The Rings of Power. The first 2 episodes dropped on Amazon Plus, Prime Video. I don't know what they call it now. What is it called? Is it Prime Video? Is it Amazon Prime?
Yeah.
Is Prime Video?
It's Amazon. I think it's Prime Video.
Because Prime Video sounds like an early 80s like pay TV channel. That's why I never want to call it Prime Video.
That's why I would watch it.
I mean, that's a good point. I should have it. Either of you, I know, Chris, you're not the biggest Lord of the Rings fan.
Yeah, Chris, you go first.
Yeah.
We both watched
Did
it.
you watch?
I was kind of into the initial trilogy back in the early aughts, especially Two Towers. I watched the crap out of the Two Towers.
Really? Oh, interesting.
Oh yeah, just the like Battle of Isengard and stuff was just amazing.
Yeah,
especially the extended cut and all that. But
so good.
Yeah, no, we watched the first episode of the 2 that came out last night, and yeah, couple takeaways. One, I don't know if it's the right term, over processed. Like it just looked so CG and so fake and so ugly.
Okay, all right.
Warren's coming back at you on this one.
Well, that's fine. That's fair.
Back.
Because like there's like things like with soldiers and ships and things like that. Like all the ships are in precise exact formation and everything's moving in tandem. There's no deviation. It just looked too fake.
Elves are just sticklers.
That's exactly what I was going to say. The elves are, if anybody's going to have like a sextant or whatever the hell it is to measure distances at sea to make sure all of them are precisely at the same angle, it would be the elves.
Yeah. That's maybe grasping at straws.
It absolutely is grasping at straws.
But like the CG scenes and things like that, it was too CG. Like it looked too fake, too processed, too whatever.
Too fantasy. It's a fantasy. You're almost looking at like a fantasy drawing in a Lord of the Rings book, you know?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. The woman who plays Galadriel, I'm kind of digging her. I'm kind of curious to see what happens. Like obviously, kind of what happens with her.
She survives for what it's worth.
She thinks.
Yeah, okay.
She thinks.
And becomes a Kate Blanchett eventually.
Yeah. Anyway, kind of interesting to see where her story goes for the confines of the episodes. Same with Lenny Henry's character as well. As I didn't know until you pointed out the other day, Stephen, Wayne Yip directs 4 episodes. And
co-executive producer, yeah.
And EP credit as well.
Yep.
Yeah, but he directs episodes 3, 4, 5, and 8.
He does.
So I'm kind of curious to keep watching to see his directorial hand at work, because obviously we're all huge fans of his from Doctor Who and Class.
Yep.
We are.
But it's my biggest problem when it comes to Lord of the Rings or Tolkien stuff in general is just how, and there are those who absolutely adore how detailed and drawn out and methodical all of it is.
Right.
And that's what I hate more about it than anything else. Just get to the damn point. Let's have something happen.
It's a slow burn. Like I said, I never watched the second one yet, but the first one, I felt like, you know what, this kind of feels like it feels like The Hobbit in the way it's paced. That it's going to be 3 books, so we can take our time now. Thinking, it's going to be in episodes. We can take our time now. Thinking,
I have several rebuttals to
I know this.
Watching the first one did not really leave me with the desire to watch more. I will, because I kind of want to see where things go a little bit.
Right.
But it's a really, really, really thin rope.
If you order a package off of Amazon and you click, like, there's now, like, you know, you can get it in Prime delivery or not Prime, or you get like 2-day delivery, or it says if you've watched Lord of the Rings, you get it like overnight, and so it's like quicker shipping if you watch it. So I would encourage you to watch all the episodes if you want to get your packages quicker.
For very, very, very altruistic reasons.
Yeah. Warren, you have rebuttals to this? Not that this is becoming a Lord of the Rings review podcast.
Not that you're wrong either, Chris. You can enjoy or not enjoy this thing any way you want.
Right.
But I was the opposite. I finished the first one and immediately said I want to go right into number 2. I liked this quite a the phone test was that my phone stayed where it was and I didn't look at it.
Done. Wow.
Episode 1, as it's going to be with almost every series, is just so heavy on the setup.
It is.
But I was enjoying the setup, so.
Yeah, and if you're into that, then great. But if you kind of want things to happen and you know things aren't going to happen, it's gonna keep you at least somewhat from enjoying it.
I mean, I don't disagree with you, but I was totally into it. I think the CG part of it, I thought, if you look at The Hobbit, The Hobbit is chock full of CG because they can CG, and I just found it excessive and annoying after a while.
It's also
this. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I just want to jump in. It's also they couldn't do the bigatures that they did for the Lord of the Rings movie because of
that too, because it's 3D.
Because of the 3D aspect, and I think because of the 48 frames per second. Remember that? Remember when they made things 48 frames per second for that one?
But beyond that,
set of movies?
It was like Heaven's Gate excessive, and it wasn't Heaven's Gate. It's kind of an unfair comparison, but it's Peter Jackson can do whatever he wants, so he's going to, right? And with this, restraint isn't the right word because it certainly isn't. But the way they do it isn't as in your face about it. It's just, hey, this is extremely expensive. If you look at the background, you'll notice how expensive.
Right.
And there's just lots of stuff that you go, oh, hey, wait, this is on TV, right? But you don't go, okay, it's quit hammering me over the head, or at least I didn't feel that way. I'm with Chris on Galadriel, Nuri, I'm going to get her name wrong because I get all names wrong. The Harfoot, I want to know what's going on with her, mostly based on a lot of stuff in episode 2 I'm not going to go on about, but yeah. But yeah, like I really dug it. And can they sustain this over 8 episodes or whatever it is? Maybe, maybe not. But as far as streaming goes, I wasn't bored out of my tree, which is
with the money hose they let loose on this thing, probably.
But the money hose can be a blessing and a curse. We were talking about this off air. C, like C is the money hose, and so what? And if it's not good, it's not good. Transformers. There's multiple money hoses in those movies. Who cares? It's about a dumb robots yelling. Like, so basically. So far, so good is what I'm saying. For once, I'm actually really enjoying this streaming thing, and I'm not disappointed by it. And I was worried this was going to be a complete disaster, and so far, it isn't. So.
Yeah, I went in cold. I never watched the trailer or anything. I just said, okay, let's see what's going on here. And it was like as Chris is saying, it's a slow burn, that first episode, and I haven't seen the second one yet because I don't usually watch 2 episodes of things in a row. But yeah, takes a bit. Also, Bring it back into the subject matter of this podcast. Terrible for Doctor Who actors spotting. Terrible. Lenny Henry's the only one. The only one.
Well, complete failure, obviously.
It's terrible. Every time that someone goes, who's this going to be? Oh, I don't even recognize that person.
Especially since the woman who plays Galadriel is Welsh. I mean, man, she should have been in Doctor Who, right?
I know. It's ridiculous. Like, oh, man. Like House of the Dragon, which I don't compare to. You know who compares House of the Dragon and Rings of Power? Literally every single review I've seen of Rings of Power compares it
completely
directly
different
to
shows.
Completely different, but they're people in wigs and dragons, and it's around the same time. There's I've spotted like 3 or 4 regulars in House of the Dragon, including of course Doctor Who himself, Matt Smith. Are in that, and so that's more fun to me than right now, because
that's a pretty limited criteria that nobody but you and Toby Hato share. So.
I know. It's I accept all criticisms on that, but anyway, I'm glad that they're
not even a criticism, just a point.
Yeah, I'm glad that there. It's interesting. Amazon doesn't do this for all their series. Like I think the League of Their Own, all the episodes dropped at once, and I think they did that for other shows. But this one, they dropped 2 episodes and then one every Thursday, I think it is, at a proper time at like 9 p.m. Eastern, which is like, thank you. Well, that's humane.
You would you would ruin it if you dumped it all at once.
It would be if it's worth watching all at once, and it's not worth watching as far as I'm considered, because it's like, well, you're not worried about the result of this leaking to the internet. You just want to get it out of the way, So I'm glad they're doing that. But I mean, the actual time of day is great. I like that they actually have a day. You're not waiting till like 1 a.m. Pacific time or
6
something.
6 p.m. in Pacific.
Yeah.
Like Mandalorian or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, they're basically recreating cable. Let's face it. Cable is just being recreated, and now we have broadcast times, and you pay even more for bundles, and
some of which you actually want. So
yeah, that's true. That's true. Anyway, we might be resorted to talk about further episodes of Lord of the Rings: The Rings of Power, and future episodes of this podcast in the event that no new Doctor Who news happens. But this past weekend there were 3 different things, gatherings, if you will, that happened in the United Kingdom. FCC Birmingham, which is I saw FCC. I thought it was like, is this a football thing? Is what it is? But no, it's a Comic-Con.
Football club Birmingham.
Football club Birmingham.
The nerds would lose with that one.
BYOBB.
Run into football hooligans on the way to a nerd thing.
That's right, we did in Derby.
We know. Yes, exactly. I think I know the nerds would not come out well of that encounter.
I know. I was like, for a couple seconds, I was like legitimately terrified while all this yelling was happening on the train platform. And I thought, is there a riot going on? No, it's just people getting on the train to go to a
I'd like to point out, as we're getting off, you and me were shrinking down into our Canadian cells, whereas Erica was like, get out of my way, America.
Yeah. FC Birmingham featured many guests, including 4 Doctors Who, that being Jodie Whittaker, Joe Martin, Colin Baker, Sylvester McCoy, and Sacha Dhawan was also there for the ride. And they were all cited autographs. I don't think there were any panels. There certainly, there might have been for some of the. Jodie Whittaker didn't do a panel. I think it was just photos and autographs, basically. So it was cool to see, the energy. There were some nice photos of Jodie Whittaker meeting up with Sacha Dhawan and having a chat and a laugh and stuff like that. Oh, they had fun making Doctor Who. And a
dance, I think, as well.
Did they do a dance? I didn't know they did a dance. Oh. That was neat. It was cool seeing people's reactions, meeting Jodie, because she hasn't done a lot of conventions like this, especially since she had a child in the last year. So she's back out in the world doing these things. She's going to be in Columbus, apparently. A listener tweeted that at us. She's going to be in Columbus, Ohio in December, which is kind of cool. So good for her. Good for her seizing the moment.
I only laugh because we're truly driving on fumes at this point. And this is what gets our, not that there's anything wrong with being excited about this fan stuff, but they're like, this is it. This is all we got. All right. Okay.
Kind of a little bit, but anyway, it's fun. Yeah. This is the great thing about UK conventions, is that you can just put a Comic-Con on and look at 4 doctors show up, because it's just down the road and stuff. So
apparently they had a bunch of sports guests there too.
Sports? I love sports.
So there was a FC riot of some sort in my head.
Yeah.
What kind of sports guests? Like members of the 1996 Euro championship team, or what?
As I look across the list of people whose names I actually recognize, of the I don't know, dozen and a half or so. There are like 3 names I know. Ricky Hatton, Frank Bruno, and Vinnie Jones, but I know him from acting. Not
Vinnie Jones. I'd see Vinnie Jones.
Frank Bruno, of course, was a boxer. Well, still is, obviously. He was a boxer, still is a person. Famous for having his name on a boxing poster in the Survival. Gym in Survival. Yeah, exactly. So there's another Doctor Who.
I hate to break it to you, by the way, Stephen, but the 96 team, that's what Colin Baker and Sylvester McCoy are. Let's be honest to ourselves here. Like, we're doing the exact same thing with our heroes. The
Hero 96 team, the Paul Gass going up there, chugging bits of beer. Yeah, no.
Yeah, this is exactly what we're doing with Classic Who guests. So, I mean, we're no better.
I know. Hey, listen.
I'm defending Sportsters.
I know. No,
what the hell's happening?
It's in this country, and I guess the Soviet Union. It's the 50th anniversary of the Summit Series that happened in 1972 between Team Canada and Team USSR, an 8-game hockey series. So I know, Warren. I know all about sports nostalgia because I'm swimming in it. Swimming in it right now. So. Anyway, I hope everyone had a good time at Foxtrot Charlie Birmingham this past weekend. Also, Whooverville happened. We're recording this on Sunday morning, so it's over now. But I didn't spend much time on the Twitters yesterday, so I didn't see how Whooverville 13 went down yesterday. Apart from Siobhan Galishon did a great interview with Rufus Hound, I saw that. But I hope everyone had a grand time at Whooverville, up in Derby, home of the hooligans, according to Warren and I, because that's where we encountered the...
very briefly, hooligans. Yeah. And then one of the loveliest and smallest gay bars I've ever been in my life.
It was so quaint. It was lovely.
It was just a lovely little gay bar with... Basically, it was a quaint bar with rainbow flags, essentially.
Yeah. We will never stop singing the praises of Derby and our experience there. No. And the lovely Chinese restaurant that we went to and had a nice meal.
It was really good.
With Steve Hatcher and the late Michael Pickwood. Yeah.
And his lovely wife.
Yeah, and his lovely wife who worked with Verity Lambert back in the day. So that happened. Also, another thing I never found, I don't know if either of you cats saw anything, but at the BFI there was a screening for The Abominable Snowmen. And Fraser Hines was there because he was in it. And it was a Doctor Who event, so he was there. But that happened as well. A trailer dropped for it in advance because, of course, it's coming out tomorrow or Tuesday in the UK, and we're still waiting another 3 months for it here in North America. But the animated version of that is out. So, and there was a BFI event, so that's pretty cool. I watched Chris. I know we talked about this in the past. I finally this past week watched the animated version of Galaxy 4. Finally did it.
Oh yeah,
yeah, it's good.
How was that?
It's good. I liked it. I liked it a lot actually. I watched in the Lord's black and white 4:3 version, of course, because there's no point watching it.
One episode a week.
Yes, I did. No, I didn't do that, but I liked it. I mean, let's face it. I am there for Martin Wiggins' DVD production notes. That's literally my favorite thing about the DVDs these days now. It's just I love reading production notes and see what happened, especially for missing episodes, because I've never seen production notes for missing episodes before, and they didn't used to do them on the original the older animated ones on the DVD. They just skipped it. It's if we can't talk about animation, so they stopped it. But they've started doing that now for them, and I think it's great. I like learning about stuff.
Galaxy 4, I remember reading the Target book, I think, once.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same here. So I couldn't tell you what it's about. No idea.
I watched the recon, the quote-unquote recon, after they found airlock on, was it Aztecs Special Edition?
Yeah.
Whatever release that was on. Watched that for its hour-long thing, and it was fine. But I don't know as much about it as I do other stories, so maybe I'll have to watch the production notes, because I don't watch those as much now as I used to once upon a time.
Yeah, I do. I just tell us a story, Dr. Martin Wiggins, and I just like reading them again. I wish I
never did. I found it distracting. That was years ago though, so maybe I wouldn't now.
Yeah.
If you watch it on maybe your second watch.
Yeah.
So that you don't have to worry about paying attention so much.
Well, I was foolish, as a lot of us probably were back in the day. I would watch them with the commentary and the production notes on.
Yeah, that's what I did. That's what put me off it.
Why would I do that? It's so hard to concentrate on one or the other.
Because it was new at the time. It was like a new thing in total, basically.
Anyway, I wish you could. I don't know how to strip production note files like you can subtitle files. But I would like that. I would literally read a PDF of all the.
Isn't that essentially what they are? They're just SRT files.
It's a text track. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a text track.
Yeah, like it should be this exact same thing. It just doesn't have the text that's being spoken.
Yeah, but I don't know how to strip subtitle files from things.
Yeah, neither do I.
Is this illegal? Am I breaking the law? Or indeed
not when you're watching a legally purchased copy, as we have often done.
It is legally purchased, but I don't know how to separate the dot RTF or whatever the hell they are, SRT files from them.
Somebody may have already done it for you.
Well, if they have, they haven't posted it anymore. And so if anyone's out there has .srt files for the production notes, drop us a line because I want to know. I want to know these things.
I would not be surprised if somebody's done this because there are other weirdos besides you out there.
That's true. Well, I'm pleased that I found finally on opensubtitles.org, I found the proper DVD subtitles for the Sandbaggers because I bought the DVD of the Sandbaggers, but it's not captioned. There's no subtitles on it because the UK has different rules than they do here in North America. Everything has to have subtitles on it. And the BritBox is great. They have subtitles for all their programming, but you can tell that a lot of it's sort of done by like voice recognition software because some of them just like, that's not what they said. That is completely wrong. And so,
Yep.
So now I have a proper subtitles for all the episodes. So there you go. Subtitle news. That's how that's happening. What else we got here? Black Archives. We haven't talked about these a lot, but these books continue to come out. I think I have got a few of them. They are great. They're basically like one-off deep dives into specific stories in Doctor Who's past. Put out by Obverse Books. And the number issue 60, the 60th book, is The Sunmakers.
Classic.
It's out now. So yeah, if I had more gumption, I would have like just collected all of these. Like I've got the Massacre, I've got the Evil of
and read none of them.
Evil of the. No, I read the Massacre. I haven't read the Evil of the Daleks yet. It's by Simon Guerrier, who does great work. I really should get into that. Stacey Smith has got Doctor Who and the Silurians. Remember, because we had her on during the early days of the pandemic, talking about pandemics.
Oh, right, yeah.
Liz Miles wrote one about the Ambassadors of Death. So there's a whole bunch of great people writing great books about individual stories like this. So yeah, interesting stuff. Well, and they're like cheap. They're like less than £10, I think, for these. I don't know. Either of you have them? Probably not.
No, I don't.
No.
Surprisingly, you'd think I would, but I don't.
Yeah, good stuff. They're good stuff.
Yeah, so £6 to get it from Obverse Books. I'm just not sure what shipping would necessarily be.
I was going to say the shipping is
Atlantic.
probably 4 times that. So.
Yeah.
Quite
often.
Mm-hmm.
Not their fault, obviously, but
No, of course not. No. Next up, I just did do it a couple of things, and then we'll get on with the Timelash, which is our weekly trip through Doctor Who history. And this is the show, by the way. It's just banter this week. I don't know if that disappoints you in any way.
Every week until October something.
Pretty much. We're doing it. It's almost like a protest. And there's no new Doctor Who to talk about.
Not really.
We'll just talk about Lord of the Rings and crap. The final of 4, the Titan Comics Doctor Who, the Fugitive Doctor series is out now. The final one. They did 4 episodes, 4 issues of that with Joe Martin's Doctor on the cover of that. That is available now from Titan Comics or your local comics distributor. You can get those, so that's pretty cool. And Big Finish, the Third Doctor Adventures Kaleidoscope is coming out October of 2020. That's next month. Jeez, that feels.
It seems rushed.
I know. What the hell? Like there's a year and a half wait in between announcing and putting these things out. Don't understand that, but so you can get that at bigfinish.com, where, as you know, they love stories. They don't say that.
Love them so much.
They don't say that as much anymore, but that's fine. They have a new tagline. It's all fine. All right. Is that it? Any other news you want to talk about?
I think that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah. Chris, you got anything? No.
No, I'm good.
Okay, well, let's dip back in time then. The Timelash, everyone. This is our weekly segment where we scan the archives to see what happened this day in history in Doctor Who. Previously, we just sort of focused on broadcast history, but now that it's looped around, we'll still talk about broadcast history because we've forgotten what we said a year ago, so we might say the same things. But thanks to Shannon Patrick Sullivan's amazing Doctor Who website, he has a whole list of production stuff as well that happened this day in history. I kick off with, we mentioned Abominable Snowmen. The Abominable Snowmen started their massive 5-day location shoot on September 4th, 1967, up in Wales, where they were expecting snow, and there was no snow. So the Himalayas in the Abominable Snowmen have no snow because of that. So, do you want to know an interesting thing about that? Of course you do. It was the first location footage for Doctor Who shot on 16mm film. That was the new edict from the BBC.
Superior format, by the way. Superior format.
No, it's terrible, Warren. It's terrible because
wrong.
Up until then, Doctor Who had been made on 35mm on location filming.
All right. Yes, then that's fair. All right.
Hence all the beautiful stuff we have from War Machines.
Superior to video. Superior to video.
Oh, well, I mean, 35mm was better, but then the BBC, once filming was starting to become more common at the BBC, they thought, well, wait a minute, we've got, I don't know why you sound a lot this, but
it's exactly how they sounded, yes.
We have to cut back on the budget, so all of it's going to be on 16mm, and so just in time for Doctor Who to go on a massive, probably one of their biggest location jaunts ever, they decided to shoot it on 16mm.
But don't forget, the end result of this is on some PAL TV that you can never tell the difference anyway. So
true. 405 line too, like even smaller,
yeah, nobody, if their TV wasn't on fire, could tell.
It's a shame though, but anyway, that happened. That started this day in history. How many years? That's 55 years ago. Started shooting Abominable Snowmen, which started the whole production block too. So, what else do you want to talk about there? Anything else?
1968. Because I'm a bad fan. I didn't know there was a companion to be called Nick. This is the first I've learned of that over almost 50 years of watching this dumb show.
Where is this? Where is this, Warren?
1968. It says, results, Fraser Hines is convinced to stay on, so this results in the abandonment of new companion Nick.
Oh, what day are you on?
Never heard from.
We're on September 4th here, Warren.
Yes, this is September 4th. I'm looking right at September 4th,
is it really?
1968.
Oh.
Yes, it's right there.
I don't see it.
Nope.
It's right in front of you. September 4th. Oh, wait a minute.
There we go.
I'm an idiot. Hold that thought.
There we go. We're still on September 4th.
I thought it was...
Warren's time traveling again.
Warren doesn't know how dates work. No.
Or I'm just stupid.
That could be it too. Well, I was going to go that far.
So let's move on to September 5th.
Let's move on to September 5th. Let's talk about Nick.
Yeah, let's talk about Nick. They originally had an idea, because I think they're going to write Jamie out in like the Laird of the McCrinnon, I think is what the name of the story was. And then have a new character called Nick in. And with N-I-K, who later, of course, found fame as Nick Kershaw. Wouldn't it be good in 1983?
Yes, that's exactly what happened.
So yeah, Warren, yes, they were going to have a new companion called Nick.
News to me. I had no idea.
Wow.
Like I just had no clue. Mm-hmm. Also, I can't tell what day it is, so obviously I would know this. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I just surprised me. I'm like, oh, a bit of new Doctor Who news to me, finally.
Brand new. Yeah, I
assume you both knew about this in encyclopedic detail.
Well, Warren, we read the production notes on the DVD, so
bravo. Yes. It finally paid off.
Yes, we do.
But do you feel the childlike glee that I do right now?
No, I know. I admire. It's fun. It's fun learning things. Isn't it fun?
Also, childlike shame at being not able to tell a date.
No, it wasn't that. I mean, it was only like written in, and then Derek Sherwin probably just scrubbed it like he did pretty much everything back in those days. So, yeah. Krista, you knew
they should
about
have a Big Finish series about Nick, I think.
about discarded companions, Nick and Penny, who was going to be the series 4 companion until Catherine Tate said, "Now I'll come back and do it anyway." So, okay, well, Penny's gone. Bye, Penny, whoever you are. Anyway,
Well, two things. Number one, it's more interesting when people get paid to not be companions.
Oh yeah, like April Walker.
Scam.
Yeah, April Walker. Yeah.
And two, it's interesting that they announced to the press that Fraser Hines is leaving, but no, he's not.
I know, right?
Things like that. So I mean, the thing doesn't, and I don't know anything about it, but the little blurb here doesn't mention anything about how they kind of walked that back. And said, "Oh, actually, he's staying." So that I'd be curious to learn about.
Yeah. The other thing we have to remember is the press at the time was the entertainment page, several sections in a newspaper. Like that's where you'd find out about it. It wasn't 24-hour a day, whatever e-talk nonsense.
I mean, something like that.
It was just this one thing, maybe.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, if it was Patrick Troughton leaving, that might be a different story.
But that might be
maybe
nightly news type thing.
I think I remember seeing probably one of David J. Howe's books, like the 60s or the 70s, well, 60s, obviously. It's literally like a little side column, whose Hines leaves or something nonsense like that. So he's probably going to depart. And they probably said, probably a similarly but smaller article probably said, Hines staying after all, ? Yeah.
It's the exact same mentality and industry of, we're putting this on TV at 4:05 lines. Who cares if it looks good?
Right.
That's kind of what newspapers were back then, too. Because when does anybody... Yes, you could go back and look at a newspaper. Well, why would you? You'd use it to wrap fish or whatever.
Right. This is a show and an industry that had a new character in mind in episode 6 of a series, but hadn't had him cast yet by episode 3, and had a guy come in and impress you with his Morton Dill performance that says, we'll cast him as our new companion who appears in 3 weeks' time in The Chase.
So is this better or worse than waiting for a title and date for October?
I kind of miss the slapdash nature of it, I have to be honest.
This is pretty slapdash what we're dealing with here, just different slapdash.
Yeah, I know. Like, look at this. NASA's trying to send another rocket to the moon 50 years after they stopped, after they sent the last one, Artemis 1. And it keeps scrubbing, we got to scrub the launch. This is not work. This is something. And there's not even astronauts in there. Whereas like back in the 60s, like, we don't know what we're doing. Just put them in a tin can and fire them off to the moon.
Can't let the rescues win.
Yeah, exactly. And if they come back, that's great. I don't know. So dangerous. The reason why we never went back to the moon for 50 years, it was so dangerous. Why did we do that?
I mean, it's probably dangerous now, but it's an entirely different, leagues of difference in terms of technology and safety and all the rest of it. And also, them scrubbing it is, I don't like it, but it's a good thing. Rather that than it explodes on the launch pad. Come on.
I know. The computers that program the flight pattern.
VIC-20s. VIC-20s at best.
No, they were the size of a house back in 1969.
I know, but they had the power of a VIC-20.
And the power of a VIC-20.
I don't even know if they had I don't think they even had the power of a VIC-20.
Your watch, this thing I'm wearing on my wrist.
I know.
That has a million times the power, which is dumb. And it tells me to breathe every now and again. That's what it does.
Yeah. The microchip, the Disney Plus microchip that we all have inserted into our heads, unbeknownst to us, has more power than the computers that flew a rocket to the moon in 1969.
I think yours is malfunctioning because you do nothing but speak ill of Disney.
Could be it. I know. It's like the tripods, which oddly enough is something that the Disney owns the rights to.
You are a free man. You are the prisoner in this situation somehow.
I am. Although I wear number 6 when I play sports, so what does that say about me, huh?
A giant Mickey Mouse rover is going to come and suffocate you. That's what's going to happen.
That could be it.
Going, ha, 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 as it roars towards you.
Oh,
golly,
oh. Are we getting sued by Disney now? Is that copyrighted? Are we going to take down by...
well, if your head's getting hot because of your chip, then you'll know.
Could be it. A bunch of stuff was recorded on September 5th, by the way, just so you know. On that seems to be the hot day in the modern series there, because New Earth, Shakespeare Code, Planet of the Ood, Cold War, Journey to the Center of the TARDIS. I find it fascinating when stuff is being recorded for Cold War in 2012 on the exact same day as something for Journey to the Center of the TARDIS, and that might mean just pickup shots of a foot stepping on a bulkhead or something like that,
Probably.
Yeah.
That's probably what it is.
Yeah.
I think
second unit, whatever.
We should all praise this day because this is when the greatest special effect in the history of Doctor Who happened in 1986 with the Trial of a Time Lord flying sequence.
Oh, have we skipped ahead again, Warren? Are we on to September 6th?
Oh, probably.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I believe I am on September 6th. Have I skipped ahead?
You probably have. That's when it broadcast. That's when it broadcast.
Actually on, yes, that's what I'm saying. Yes.
September 6th.
I got it right.
1986. As you say, the greatest, still to this day, the greatest special effect.
Name a better one.
Even
name
today,
a better one.
I know, because it's models. It's models, man. It's so good. It looks so good.
I mean, there's been great effect. Like, for instance, the Dalek attack on Gallifrey is pretty breathtaking.
Sure.
But it's just not the same as seeing it on a classic Who.
None of it's models. Oh, the models. When they put models on screen, oh, I love it. Love it. You just feel the weight. Even to this day, they do some great stuff. And it is immensely difficult to do what they do on computers. It's not easy by any means.
No,
but
absolutely not.
Man, it's just real models.
This is also nostalgia too. Let's be honest here. It's also us pining for a certain kind of thing.
It is. It is a lot, actually. Yeah.
And 3 years later, episode 1 of Battlefield, the lowest rated series or lowest rated story.
Yep.
Way worse effects, frankly.
Because they try to do like explosions on computers in Battlefield and thing.
Yeah, in 1989, it's not the time to do that.
No, don't give a blank check to Dave Chapman for that one. Actually, I think it's Dave somebody. I can't remember his name, but I like Battlefield. I don't care. It's a great story. Yep. I think it's wonderful.
I agree.
Yep.
I'm middling on Battlefield.
Yeah.
It's a story.
I know you are. Because it's a McCoy era stuff, so.
Post Willow Jean Marsh. How can you go wrong?
Recently, too, like, wasn't that... Like, she's basically playing the same character, let's face it.
Oh, yeah. She's totally Bev Morda.
She just, like, I think they just cleaved footage from Ron Howard, just sort of fed Michael Kerrigan, director of Battlefield. So here you go. Here's the B-roll stuff that we got of Jean Marsh. If you want to use that for a Doctor Who episodes, you can have it. That's a lie, of course. Jean Marsh is in Doctor Who thrice total. And married one at one point, so...
Before he was a doctor.
Before he was a Doctor Who. John Pertwee we're talking about here, yeah. Let's see what else we got here going. Is it a spoiler? I don't know. Where are we on the mini scopes? Where have those been all those? Yeah, because we did the Carrie Blyton one. So spoiler alert. James Hawes is our next one, and we're recording it later today for what it's worth. And so we'll be talking about not the stories that were made on this day in history, but New Earth and School Reunion. Both record. Wait a second.
And Christmas Invasion.
And Christmas Invasion. Let me get this straight. Okay, so the same day, September 6, 2005, featured recordings for 3 different episodes, all of them directed allegedly by James Hawes. How did that work? It's a lie.
But two of the 3 are model stages.
All stuff, yeah.
So...
Which is the best.
Because two of them are in London, one of them is in Newport. So I'm assuming Hawes would have been in Newport.
I'm gonna
guess that
for
this day in history.
Makes you. I mean, even you think the director is there for every single shot, and it's not. It's all
that's why I have like assistant directors and second units and whatever.
Yeah. And special effect, when George Lucas was busy making Star Wars in London at Elstree, a bunch of drunk nerds were filming model stuff back in Van Nuys, California.
How much did J&T direct as a second unit director? Right?
He directed at least. I mean, he did 5 Doctors. He did the Flower Child and Bellboy scene in Greatest Show of the Galaxy, and. Those are the only 2 I know of, but he might have done other stuff too. Yeah.
This September 6th as well, Stephen. Debut of one of your favorite stories, Robot of Sherwood.
Funny, man.
It has the great line, "Bony rascal." I'm a ride or die on that one.
That's true, man. Yeah, it's on a favorite of mine. I know you joke, Chris. I know.
But the plot makes so much sense that last little bit of gold, it was just enough.
Just needed that last bit of gold. Fire an arrow directly at it, and that'll push. This little arrow will push that spaceship into orbit.
Oh, it's stupid. I'm not going to say it's not. It's stupid.
Yeah, it's dumb. Anyway,
it's kind of fun though.
Is it?
Doesn't have to be smart to be fun.
It's more shouty than fun. That's the thing. Everyone says, "Oh, the witty scene in the jail." They're just shouting at each other. It's not even witty. That was the moment it lost me. I'm thinking, nope, this ain't gonna be good. This episode's no good. I'm not enjoying it. They're just shouting at each other.
Every bad Doctor Who is a personal betrayal to you, Steve.
It is, because they're so rarely let me down. So.
Do you remember how much your opinion was changed or jaded knowing in advance that they cut scenes pre-broadcast?
No, I didn't know anything about that. I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure you did.
Maybe we did. I don't know what was cut. So, and I honestly didn't notice when we watched it. It was because there was a
beheading scene that was cut for broadcast because of an ISIS beheading.
Oh yes,
not
I totally forgot about that.
long before in reality,
like a week before or so, I think.
Yeah,
but it's there. It was there if you partook in the Camargo version.
That's right. It was in the Camargo version.
I think I skipped Camargo for that one.
But by then you were feeling guilty, thinking, I don't want to watch.
Yeah, I watched the Dalek one, the name which escapes me for some reason.
Into the
Dalek, and I just felt disappointed in myself, frankly.
Right?
But it does have that ending where the Dalek ship gets exploded, which they never refer to and doesn't happen in the actual episode. Which that was kind of cool.
Oh, that's right. I remember that. Yeah, I have the Camargo cut somewhere. I can't remember where I have them, but they're somewhere.
Camargo cut. The poor guy has his name plastered all over it. He may not have even had it stolen, and all of a sudden it's his final cut of this episode as an artistic expression.
Release the Camargo cut.
I really hope whoever this Camargo guy or woman, whoever it is, I hope they're just happy because they probably got
Marcelo is his first name.
Yeah.
I think they got dragged through the mud on this, and probably unfairly.
Yeah, well...
Maybe fairly, I don't know. But
I don't know
I hope they've either done their penance or been spared, whatever it works out.
I don't know, what was the deal with that? It was sent off to like a caption house. Speaking of captionings...
it's basically the same thing that happened with Rose and the CBC. We just happen to know the person's name in this case.
Because it's watermarked all over it. Yeah.
But that doesn't mean, like, that could be he was the last person to have his hands on it and somebody got a hold of it afterward. Who knows? Like,
yeah. I just love like a Doctor Who fandom. Like you just say Marcel Camargo. Like, oh yeah. We know exactly what you're talking about. A deep cut. If Doctor Who was as deep cutty as other franchises were, there'd be like a character called Marcel Camargo in a new episode of Doctor Who. And
other franchises probably are that deep cutty. We just don't know about it.
I know they are. I mean, it's called the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Here we go. I was waiting for you to slag off Star Trek. But
no.
Take your pick.
Yeah, I know exactly.
But when Doctor Who does it, it's just fine. It's just fine. Like it.
I would be like, we are not going to enjoy it. They don't understand that, and I feel guilty for enjoying that. I feel guilty. It's my utter shame.
Silly.
Doctor Who fan.
You're silly.
Let's move on to September 7th. The one thing that this website does is that it doesn't have the days of because it just lists them in order. So we never know when the weekend. So we're stopping at the 10th. Okay, mental note: the last day is September the 10th. Let's see what we got here.
Birth of Rona Munro, apparently.
Yes, happy birthday, September 7th, to Doctor Who writer, two-time Doctor Who writer, Rona Munro, born in 1959. So there we go. I like that they have the birthdays at the top of the page, and then if somebody happened to die that day in history, it's at the bottom of the page. So that works. So there. Don't know why I mentioned that, but it's fun. What else we got here?
Song of the Space Whale.
Yeah, Pat Mills and John Wagner are commissioned to provide a storyline for the Song of the Space Whale in 1981, September 7th. This thing hung on until, I think season 22. I think they were still trying to hammer it into shape, and they finally had to abandon it. It hung around, this thing. It's one of the legendary made Doctor Who stuff. I'm pretty sure Big Finish did it.
In my head.
It
was split off into Rings of Akaton and The Beast Below several decades hence.
I think you're right.
I think I'm absolutely wrong.
Yeah. If I Google Big Finish Song of the Space Whale, no. Although there's the song of Megaptera, written by Pat Mills. So yeah.
That's got to be it. That's got to be the one, I think.
Yeah, Hunting Mile Long Space Whale. So yeah, they've changed the name, I guess.
There it is. I knew it.
Would you say it's more or less famous than that second Doctor one with a prison?
The Prison in Space by Dick Sharples. Oh my God, did Doctor Who just sidestep? That would have been that episode would have been canceled. Like it would have just been,
the show would have been canceled nowadays if that was made.
What's the term for music being in and part of the story? Because Doctor Who has a very bad track record of
diegetic.
Thank you, diegetic. Because Doctor Who has a very bad track record of let's see, Black Spot and Rings of Acton for that. So a classic Who episode that I don't know if it would include that, but if it did, probably even more awkward and weird.
Yeah. Well, the Prison in Space was like a story that was like all the guards are women and stuff, and they all had like really short skirts. It's just like,
wouldn't be problematic in 81 at all. No,
no, this is 1968. We're talking about.
It's something that would not have been out of place in Star Trek TOS.
That's true. Yes.
Yeah, like season 3 Star Trek
or
TOS.
Indeed 1968.
Yeah,
but yeah.
To move along, one of your actual favorites, Stephen, Time of the Rani, episode 1, broadcast.
Broadcast, yeah.
1987.
On a weekday evening, where Doctor Who was born to be shown. September 7th, 1987.
The long, dragged-out death begins.
A little bit, sadly. Took 3 years, though. Took 3 years to kill it off, so good work. Making a whole era of a show under the threat of cancellation. I mean, couldn't do that nowadays. You'd be done after one episode. It's done. They would have canceled. They would have canceled Battlefield, like Doctor Who. Like if it was an American show and like Doctor Who got the ratings that it did for episode of Battlefield, and it was gone, canceled it all.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And those episodes been lost.
I don't think it's out yet, is it? Oh, no, it did go out already.
What's that?
Never mind. I was going to say something that I thought hadn't aired, but it had, so I'm going to shut up now.
It's a mystery. It's a mystery now.
I don't know what he's talking about. Is this something we put out? Is this an RFS spoiler you're taking?
No, a Netflix show.
Oh, a Netflix show.
But Netflix is canceling stuff left, right, and center these days.
Oh, right? I know.
Yeah. Just like HBO
That's called
Max.
paying the piper. That's what that's called.
Just like HBO Max. So.
HBO Max. What shows are canceled this week for tax purposes?
That's called typical television villainy.
Yep.
That's what that's called.
Yep. HBO stands for Hot Black Desiato. There we go.
Sure, why not?
Spending a year dead for tax reasons. Yeah,
that was strained but impressive.
That was unplanned. Thank you. It stands for Home Box Office, which is funny and antiquated when you think about it. A whole bunch of stuff. Once again, this is like a popular time of year in Cardiff to record stuff. They were shooting. I don't know where they were in the production of Rose, because I know they started shooting Aliens of London in like July, I think, of 2004, and then Rose, because I know so many episodes in the modern series, especially in that first season, came in like at 33. Like Rose, I think, was 33 minutes long in the initial edit, wasn't it? And they had to like write massive scenes to cram in there because no one knew how to make TV. And it could be that one. It could be that one that they shot, because the big long walk with the Doctor and Rose after they've with the arm and stuff,
feeling
which is a great part.
It's a great scene. It's a great scene. It's completely done like 3 months after the fact because the show was way too short.
Sometimes the best stuff is with a gun to your head. So yeah. Am I the only one that has cognitive dissonance on a meta level over the fact that I don't have a problem with all the mid-2000s stuff being Tenet, but then when you get to Matt Smith being 2009, I just can't wrap my head around it. It just seems odd.
I know.
It seems like it should be later for some reason.
Because Matt Smith is always like 2010 onwards, but of course they were shooting stuff.
They started shooting in July?
Yeah, July.
Somewhere in there?
Because they're in the Beast
that
Below.
far back is just, it's hard to wrap my head around still.
It is tough, I know. Matt Smith, they were shooting Beast Below on September 7th, 2009.
Their second block, yeah.
Yep. With, that's what's his name?
Andrew Gunn. Andrew
Gunn directing that. Yeah. We'll have more to say about Andrew Gunn later on, maybe. in this thing. Beast Below, Night Terrors, and Journey to the Center of the TARDIS, and Unicorn and the Wasp, if you will, all happening at the same time on the same day in history, on different years, of course, but your opinion on those may vary. On to September 8th, where Destiny of the Daleks episode 2 went out, probably to 28 million people, because there's an ITV strike going on at the same time, so...
Is that where the Movellans debuted? Did they show up in episode 1? I don't remember.
No, they were in 1. They got to be in 1, right? Yeah.
I think so.
Sure. Yeah, seems like they should be. Yeah.
Sure they were. Yeah.
The BBC confirms that Doctor Who has been renewed for season 26.
That's of September 8th, 1988. Like, that's that's before season 25 even goes out, because it starts in October because of the Olympics that year. So that's impressive. Like, when you think that, oh wow, they like Doctor Who's like living hand to mouth at this point. No, BBC is saying, yeah, you got another one coming at least.
But still less impressive than early on in the new series, where they would announce, a couple seasons worth of renewals at a time.
I suppose so. And then it just sort of became like, yeah, of course it's coming back. Like, have they?
It's a real Berlin 1944 situation. They haven't lost the war yet, but it's coming. Oh, yeah. It's coming.
Like, I feel like the announcement of there being going to be season 2 and 3 coming, like literally days after Rose got 11 million. Is that the only announcement that they've basically ever made that, guess what, Doctor Who is coming back? Like, I feel like ever since then, it's basically, yep, I guess we're going, like the classic series, I guess we're just going to do this forever now. And I just get that impression, because we've never had like, another series coming. Like, we know another series is coming. It's Doctor Who. You can't cancel Doctor Who, can you?
Well, apparently they can.
Apparently they can. They didn't do it back in this day in 1988, though. Let me tell you that. So that's good news. What else we got here? Anything else on September 8th jump out at you? All of its
broadcast of dinosaurs on the spaceship. So David Warner's first appearance.
No, David Bradley.
Not David Warner.
David Bradley.
Not David Warner. What's his face?
David Bradley. David
Bradley. Other David.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. That's true. As what's his name? Solomon. Yeah, Solomon. So, also Jane Baker of Pip and Jane Baker fame died on September 8th, 2014.
Boo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that happened.
I wonder if Chibnall did a happy dance that day.
Oh, on the same day.
Not everyone is as cruel and evil as you, Chris.
2 years after, it would have been amusing if it was on 2012, like the actual same day that a Chibnall episode broadcast on BBC One that Jane Baker died.
Is he that petty a man? I don't think he is.
I don't think so.
I'd like to think he would have grown up by then.
Hopefully. Well, he might still have that yellow zipper tie that he was wearing in 1986.
I really hope he does. You should bring that hair back, too, while you're at it.
Well...
And the big glasses.
I don't think Chibnall's doing much in the way of Doctor Who stuff anymore, so I probably won't be doing that.
Maybe when he role plays with his wife.
Whoa!
Wow, this went someplace it didn't need to.
September 9th. Happy birthday, Janet Fielding, who was born on this day in 1953. She'll, of course, be appearing in the next episode of Doctor Who.
She's 69 now.
She's, wow.
Or will be in a few days.
Also, a historic event here, because, of course, this has been delayed a couple times. The premiere date for Doctor Who in 1963 was determined on this day, September 9th, 1963, as November 23rd. I think, yep, that seems like a nice quiet day. Nothing's going to happen in the world. I think we can probably safely launch
Nothing at all.
I feel this is where we should have a plug for Toby Haydock's Too Much Information or something.
It's been in there, probably, yeah. It's probably was there, which is great. So, yeah, because originally it was going to be November... I don't remember what it was. It was going to be the 16th at some point, and then I think it might have been delayed even more by the pilot not going to plan. So that's why they kicked it down to the 23rd.
And then a couple years later, Adrian Hill casts as the new companion, except they already realized that she ain't going to work. So
wow.
What I love about this is how it's so couched in management speak. They realize the character is not feasible on an ongoing basis. I can see that in a memo.
Right.
Like just couched in a bunch of other synergistic paradigms.
Oh.
Yes, we've decided this is not feasible on an ongoing basis. So to further the brand, blah, 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 business. Like, that's how it sounds.
Yeah. Amazing. That is stunning. The fact that they actually, like, why didn't they just abandon? I don't know why they just didn't abandon the character. I suppose maybe they needed
management made bad decisions, as they always do, and it's somehow not their fault.
That's true. Yep. That is hilarious. I wonder how. I mean, I'd love to know the exact timeline of their thinking. Hey, we should get Katarina in. No, we shouldn't. Well, we've already cast her, but they already cast her, and they already knew she was going, because literally the first thing that Adrian Hill films is her death scene in 5 weeks' time for Dalek's Master Plan. So
at least it's long, so you got a whole bunch of Dalek's Master Plan.
Yeah.
On the one hand, cool, money. You got a job for at least a little bit. On the other hand, how warped is that? Like, The first thing you film is your death scene?
Right, I know. A lot of people, I asked Toby Haydock this very question for Ask Me Anything for Patreon subscribers to the Who's Round. Because I'm thinking, how many actors, because in those days, at the beginning of the story, that's when you did all the pre-filming, and then you go into the studio to shoot the rest of it, often on a week-to-week basis. And I think there have been probably a few actors especially in the 60s and early 70s, who the first thing they would shoot would be like a death scene, because often death scenes were like in an action sequence, and therefore they would film that beforehand, and that would be their death. And I'm thinking, Katarina would have done that. Hippias in The Demons is another one who filmed his death scene first and then went into the studio for 3 weeks and shot his very bad performance in The Demons. I'm not in The Demons, The Time Monster.
Time Monster.
I mean, it really worked out, didn't it?
Yeah.
I guess it's part of the job, but that's just...
It is part of the job.
Whack.
You're an actor.
TV is whack, man. Nobody knows what the hell they're doing, and that's never changed, and it probably never will.
Adrian Hill probably thought 5 weeks of work. Yeah, sign me up. Let's do it. You know?
Yeah. Before she goes back to some other acting gig.
Yeah. Exactly.
Maybe. Yeah.
What else happened? A lot of recording. Stuff is being made in this day in history.
Stuff being made, yeah.
Stuff being made. Let's move on.
Let's end with September 10th here.
September 10th, we wrap this thing up. This is we're almost running out of music. This is how long this time-lapse segment's going here. Season 4 premieres September 10th, 1966, with The Smugglers.
The racially sensitive smugglers, yeah.
Yes, yeah, I know, because they had a black character in there, and he was not treated as nicely as.
Oh, that's not great.
Well, because he's, and
he was called Jamaica.
He's called Jamaica.
Why not?
Even reading the Target book, I seem to remember going, "What is this all about?" as a teenage fellow.
Yeah.
There we go. Photo call to introduce Carol and John. There's something happy.
There we go. September 90s. That's kind of fun, actually. Yeah, 1969. Look at that. 3 months in advance of Doctor Who coming back, and they were promoting it. Wow. Imagine if they did that now. This is exciting. Recording for Frontier in Space takes place in South Bank, London, basically where the BFI is. Those stairs. That happened September 10th, 1972. Yep. Warren, we were there. We were there.
We were.
Which is pretty exciting. Johnny Byrne.
Johnny Byrne. Commission for Warriors of the Deep.
Wow, 1982. This takes a long time to make these stories. 1982, they were thinking about that. And I think, can you write in a really bad monster that we won't have time to finish?
There should be another way, he said, but turned out there wasn't.
There wasn't at all. So
yeah, it turned out to be the Ingrid Pitts.
Yeah.
I can't wah you because mine was just as bad. So.
I'm afraid I'm going to have to introduce the first ever sound effect in this podcast. There we go.
That's fair. Right. That's absolutely fair.
All right. Let's wrap this time lapse.
I'm just gonna throw out The Girl Who Waited as one there, because that debuted in 2011, and that's still a fantastic story in my opinion.
I agree.
I distinctly remember at the time, the week before, the Next Time trailer for it made absolutely no sense.
No,
and I'm like, this is gonna
always
be
a good sign.
This is gonna be awesome as a result, and sure enough, it was
fantastic.
Always
good.
3 actors, one of them playing 2 people. It's just like, wow. God.
Yeah. She's so good in it.
Yeah.
Do you count the actor who was inside the handbot outfit, I guess? Maybe?
No.
Yes. No.
That's erasure. That
is kind of an erasure. Yeah, that's true. But it's a prop story. All right. I hope you enjoyed that episode of look at that. Nothing happened in Doctor Who this week, and we managed to talk for over an hour, folks.
And like half
this
of that
is not a plus. That's just us blithering.
Thank you
half
for your
support. That was the mini Timelash.
Timelash, yeah. So hope you enjoyed hanging out with us this week, talking about Doctor Who stuff and Doctor Who related stuff and stuff that we hoped were related to Doctor Who. More of this next week, everyone. Maybe we'll have. We won't. We won't have anything to talk about in the way of the 60th anniversary. Not our fault. We do what I can, but it's fun. It's fun. Still having fun. So stick with us, folks. Here on this journey through Doctor Who, time and space. I don't know.
Journey through the center of Doctor Who.
That's it. That sounds like
Journey through September.
That's Journey through
the September of Doctor Who.
September by Peter Haining. Coming up.
And our souls.
In 1989. All right.
And Johnny Byrne.
Until next time, everyone. I am Stephen in Edmonton.
Warren in Vancouver.
And Chris in Edmonton.
So long for now.
You've been listening to Radio Free Skaro. Find us online at radiofreeskaro.com. Follow us on Twitter and Tumblr at Radio Free Skaro. Subscribe to us on iTunes and donate to the show at patreon.com/Radio Free Skaro. Thank you.